All right, quick question. What if I told you one single murder didn't just end a man's life, it ended a system, reshaped an empire, and quietly set the stage for the world we live in today? Because in 44 BC, on a regular morning in Rome, a group of senators raised their knives and changed history forever. And no, this wasn't some dramatic movie moment. It was messy, it was panicked, and it didn't go the way they thought it would. This is the assassination in ancient Rome that changed the world forever. So picture this. Rome is tense, not on fire, not collapsing, just uneasy. One man stands above everyone else, Julius Caesar. He's just come back from winning civil wars. He's been declared dictator for life. Statues of him are being placed next to gods. People kneel when he walks by. To the poor, he's a hero. To soldiers, he's a legend. To the Senate, he's terrifying. Because Rome was built on one sacred idea: no kings. They overthrew kings centuries ago. They hated kings, feared them, taught their children horror stories about them. And Caesar? Caesar was starting to look a lot like one. He wore purple. He sat above senators. He ignored traditions. He accepted honors no Roman should ever accept. And worst of all, he didn't ask permission anymore. So a group of senators did what they believed was their patriotic duty. They decided Caesar had to die. Not for revenge, not for money, but to save the Republic. At least, that's what they told themselves. Leading the group was Brutus. Yes, that Brutus. A man Caesar trusted, a man he had forgiven after the Civil War, a man he treated almost like family. And that's what makes this hit so hard. Now here's the part most people don't realize. The assassination wasn't some perfectly planned operation. It was rushed, sloppy, nervous. The senators were scared Caesar might leave Rome, or worse, declare himself king. So they picked a day, March 15th, the Ides of March. That morning, Caesar almost didn't go to the Senate. His wife had nightmares. Soothsayers warned him to stay home. Friends begged him to stay home. And for a moment, he listened. But then someone mocked him for being afraid. And Caesar, the man who had stared down armies, refused to look weak. So he went. As Caesar entered the Senate chamber, the conspirators surrounded him, not aggressively, casually, like friends. Someone handed him a petition, a distraction, and then a blade flashed. Caesar didn't even understand what was happening at first. He turned, he tried to stand, he tried to fight back, but the knives kept coming. One stab, then another, then another. Some missed, some hit bone, some barely cut at all. They weren't professional killers, they were politicians. Caesar was stabbed 23 times, and then he saw Brutus. And in that moment, according to legend, he stopped resisting. Et tu, Brute? You too? Whether he said it or not, the betrayal was real. Caesar collapsed at the foot of Pompey's statue, his old rival, bleeding, dying, silent. The most powerful man in Rome, dead on the Senate floor. The conspirators expected applause. They expected cheers. They expected Rome to thank them. Instead, Rome froze. People shut their doors, shops closed, crowds disappeared. No celebration, no relief, just fear. Because here's what the assassins completely misunderstood. They killed Caesar, but they didn't kill what Caesar represented. In fact, they made it stronger. Caesar's funeral changed everything. Mark Antony stepped forward to speak. And this was the real turning point. Antony didn't attack the assassins directly. He didn't scream. He didn't threaten. He spoke calmly. He reminded the crowd of Caesar's victories, his generosity, the money he left to the people in his will. Then he lifted Caesar's blood-stained toga. He pointed to the holes, one by one, and the crowd snapped.
Anger replaced grief. Rage replaced confusion. The people didn't see tyrant slayers. They saw traitors. Rome erupted. The conspirators fled the city. The republic they claimed to protect never recovered. Civil war followed, and from that chaos emerged one man, Octavian, Caesar's adopted son. Cold, patient, brilliant. He didn't rush. He didn't make Caesar's mistakes. He waited. And when the dust settled, Rome didn't return to the Republic. It became an empire. Octavian became Augustus, the first Roman emperor. No Senate power, no shared rule, no illusion anymore. The assassins killed a dictator and accidentally created something far worse, a permanent one. And that's why this assassination changed the world forever. Because after Caesar, power was never shared the same way again. Rome went from a republic that pretended everyone mattered to an empire that didn't pretend at all. And the ripple effects? Massive. Imperial rule, centralized power, political propaganda, strong men over institutions. Sound familiar? The lesson of Caesar's assassination isn't just ancient history, it's a warning. Killing a man doesn't kill an idea. Violence doesn't restore broken systems, and power, once concentrated, doesn't like to be given back. The Senate thought they were saving Rome. Instead, they signed its transformation. So next time you hear about Caesar's death as a heroic stand against tyranny, remember this: the knives didn't bring freedom, they brought an emperor. And the world was never the same again. If this story hit differently than what you learned in school, you know what to do. Because history isn't just about what happened, it's about what we missed. And trust me, this isn't the last time Rome will surprise you.